What's up, TFCers? It's Tierney here. Welcome to the next video in our pause series as we gather together today to just take a minute to pause and reflect on all the grief that we have experienced within these last 2 years of COVID. Today marks the 2-year anniversary that a national emergency was declared and that all the things we're beginning to shut down. And who would have thought that 2 years later we would be here? Not me. And so we're just taking the opportunity to pause, literally pause, and reflect on that and all that has meant and all that it has been. And so I am here to share a grief ritual or a grief practice that has been helpful for me throughout these past 2 years. And so within the last 2 years, I have lost 2 of my grandparents. Both of my paternal grandparents passed within the past 2 years. And so a grief ritual and practice that has been super helpful for me as it relates to both of those losses has been writing letters. And so it's been even more helpful as it relates to my grandmother than it does to my grandfather. I'm still trying to figure out why that is or what's going on with that, but that is how it is manifesting itself in this current moment. So writing letters. And so what I've done is, of course, I miss my grandmother every day. But on those days when I feel the urge to call her, those are the days that I generally write her a letter. Because I know she's not here anymore, but sometimes I pick my phone up and I be like, oh, I'm gonna call me mom. And then I'm like, no, but we can write a letter. And so I tell stories in the letter. I give her updates on my life. I kind of treat it like I would treat that phone call that I had the urge to give her. I write what's been happening with me and Reggie and Trip and all the things that she would generally ask me about on the phone. I try and answer those questions in the letter. And once it's over, I feel like I talked to my grandmother. I feel like I had the opportunity to be with her. And even though it's different, it still allows me to feel connected to her from the other side. And so I do it with my grandfather as well. It's just not as often. So writing letters and treating it as I would that phone call that I miss having with her has been a really helpful grief practice for me. So I hope that as you take an opportunity to pause today, as you take an opportunity to reflect, that little tidbit of what has been helpful for me can also be helpful for you. And so I hope that you will join us later today at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be doing the final live video to wrap up the series of videos we've been releasing all throughout today. So join us back here on Facebook or YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for the culmination, the live gathering of our pause event as we stop and just take a moment to reflect on the grief that we have experienced over these last 2 years.